Welcome to the DM podcast, episode number 6 with your boy Mike and your boy YS. Today, we're going to talk about a few things. But before we talk about anything, make sure you like, subscribe, comment below as we love talking ball. We're talking the weekend basketball. So everyone's talking about the same guy because we've been talking about it so much. Did it happen on Sunday last week? Or it happened maybe Monday after our podcast? Draymond Green. So we're going to talk Draymond Green. We hear the news about Bradley Beal. We're going to talk some Pistons and, of course, many other things. Plus, we have to give our Raptors conversation as we're from the six. But before I continue, how is my boy YS? How you doing today?
You already know every day above ground.
Bless, bless, bless. Oh, good. I'm glad to always hear that because it's always good to be above ground. Always, always. Now, I said our first topic, Draymond Green. Draymond, don't know his middle name Green. I want to say like Williamson Green or something. I don't know. I want to say something like some random European name. Draymond Green is now suspended indefinitely. Indefinitely. We
This is
don't
the
know the
first
time
thing.
frame. They'll probably meet with his agents, meet with some NBA PA, whatever, and try to figure out an actual time frame and when he's actually suspended for. But it's gonna be for a while for hitting Yusuf Nurkic when they faced against the Suns. You saw the hit. What was your first initial reaction to the hit before the suspension? What was your first initial thought of the hit?
I'm like, damn, Draymond back at it. He's a menace. That's
He's
the
a
first
menace.
thing. He's a menace, right? Because it's like he just wound up and swang on him. It wasn't like no get off me. It was like a big wind up. So I'm like, Draymond has a reputation, right? So
I almost rather he like fell down, like he if he like pretended to fall down from it, or like he could have just used his left hand and just brushed them off really like hard. If
yeah,
he could have done something like that, but you swung on him, right? He
yeah.
was saying, "Oh, I tried to get him off me," blah blah blah. You turned around, palmed your fist like this, and went
Yeah.
like, "Let me
You
do
didn't
something."
push him or just get up off of me or you know what I mean? You turned and you swung.
You swung. You swung and you pretended like it didn't happen. His teammates are there like this. Corey Joseph is like, why would he do that? Like, why? What was making him think that this was the right
Yeah.
play to make?
Yeah.
So everyone's looking at Draymond like he's crazy. So now he's out indefinitely.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they're gonna give him some time. If they're talking like they want to give him or some therapy or want him to talk to somebody. If you're the commissioner, what are you doing for Draymond?
Well, if I'm the commissioner, I'm going to look at what when someone else had sort of disruptive behavior, for lack of better terms, right?
Right.
For lack of better terms. They were saying Kyrie Irving had disruptive behavior. And what did
Yes, he did.
Kyrie Irving have to do? Go to classes, do community service, do this, write an apology, donate, all this, all that. So Draymond should do that times eight, right?
Right.
Like let's keep it a buck, right? Go to anger management for 2 weeks,
He
right?
definitely needs that.
Show that you're there for a full 6 hours or 8 hours, whatever the case may be. Like, do sort of things like that to show that, okay, because what, you're going to suspend him, for example, 10 games, 15 games, whatever. Yeah, it is what it is, but he's not really learning anything. And Draymond is not going to change. We don't expect him to change. He's 33. This is him. But there has to be some like, shit, if I do this again, I'm going to be doing double anger management class and double this and double that. And I don't even want to be doing that. You know what I mean? So there has to be some sort of punishment here because how Kyrie got it, you know what I mean, in that
Right.
fashion, which I don't agree with, but that's another topic. Draymond should get in this fashion, straight up.
The crazy thing is, Draymond's been pretty good this season. Defensively, he's been good. The way he orchestrates the offenses has been good. He's like been the second best player for the Warriors overall this year because Wiggins hasn't been good. Clay hasn't been good. You know, he kind of I think like 20 plus points last game, but
No,
overall hasn't been good.
statistically, he's been a better Draymond Green the last 3 years, statistically
Right,
this season, to be
right.
honest.
So it's weird that Draymond has been bad. I think even shooting the three, like you said, I think his 3-point shot's been better. So it's been a better Draymond Green, but everyone's saying for the past 18 months, ever since even the Jordan Poole hit, he's just been really angry, it seems. He hits Jordan Poole, he stomps on Sabonis, he chokes out Rudy Gobert, and then he punches out Yusuf Nurkic. I wrote and I sent it to you. Honestly, here's the thing. If Draymond wasn't Draymond Green, he wouldn't be in the league.
Yeah, it's
Like, he
true.
wouldn't be in the league. Like,
I
maybe
agree.
this year he'd be in the league, but next year he wouldn't be in the league. He would be playing in China because people would be too concerned with the way he plays, and they think he's too erratic. They're already saying that, like, oh, maybe he's a trade candidate. I'm sorry. Who wants Draymond Green to deal with this antics? You don't want to deal with that at all. How much games would you give Draymond? If you had to pick amount of games, how much would you give him?
Draymond needs to be taught a lesson. You know what I mean? So to be honest, I give him a 25.
Whew, that's a big one. That's like almost the rest of the season for them. Well, not rest of the team. It's until All Star pretty much for them.
The thing is, though, I'm giving it because of, him swinging on Poole. Part of it, that's part of brought into it too, and
You have to
this.
think about those things. You have to
Yeah,
think about those
so
things.
me as a commissioner, it's like this guy, and he's like he's in his own teammates, in opponents. He's just swinging on everybody. So it's like you gotta stop this, and then have the community service and whatever in the mix, anger management, couple of weeks community service, whatever. So it's like, yo, I'm really not trying to hit anybody again, or else I'm gonna have to do that bullshit anger management class and this and that, and he's not gonna want to do that.
Suspended for a
He would
year.
want to grab him, yeah.
Right. I agree. I think 25 is a pretty lengthy time. And I think it's you said, I think they wanted to look at it. I think Dumars, Detroit shooting guard, he is the like whatever. He's the discipline coordinator guy. He's the one who hands out the discipline. The actual title of him is mistaking me, but he's the one who hands out the discipline. Mind you, he's a part of the Bad Boy Pistons, right? If you think about it, Joe Dumars being part of the Bad Boy Pistons, and Draymond actually being from Detroit, I believe. So kind of that intermingling thing of it all. So Draymond's a Detroit kid, and he's looking at this and he's probably thinking to himself like, okay, Draymond is one of the, I guess, star players of the league, a guy who's known in the league. But like you said, you have to consider the history. You punched your own teammate. Then you stomped on a guy in the playoffs. You lost the game. You had to miss a game. Then you choked out Rudy Gobert this season. You literally came back after 5 games and you just swung on someone. Honestly, you're almost lucky we're giving you 25 games. That's it. We like we gave Jaw 25 games for holding a gun. And you're actually swinging on me. So 25 games makes sense. And I,
Yeah.
I think that the fear that people have is who can he do it to again? And will he hurt someone?
For real this time, like, and heard a star player, right? What if he connected with Nurkic like that, fractured his jaw? Like,
Come
for
on.
example, Garland. That's
Come
another,
on.
that, you know what I mean? And he's out for a couple of weeks.
Come on. It's different. You're lucky he didn't get hurt. If he's hurt, you're 50 game or to the whole season.
Yeah, easily. Easily.
Because
Easily.
because that matters, right?
Easily.
He's out with a fractured jaw. That means he's out for 3 to 6 weeks or whatever, maybe a couple months potentially. You don't know how much you did. So he's out for that long, and you think we're not going to suspend you for at least 30 to 45 games?
Yeah, that
No.
to me, that's the rest of the season. You injure a player,
Yeah,
like if
you're
he's
right.
out for a couple of weeks too,
Right.
that's the rest of the season. Like
No choice. No choice. You have
that's
to be gone for the
nuts.
season. And the NBA PA can appeal it and be like, that's not right, whatever, whatever. He punched someone to get hurt.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
and it's the history. It wasn't like it wasn't Steph Curry who hit him. Heck, if it was Steph Curry, they probably would have suspended him like 3 games.
Yeah, because it's like,
Right?
where's this attitude coming from? We don't get it, right? But Draymond is like, oh, what do you do? What? Oh, he's a menace. He's a menace.
Already? Already? With Draymond, it's like he did it already?
It's
He
like
just
it's
got
getting worse with age. It's crazy. You know what I
it is
mean?
bad. It is bad. It's
So
it's not something that we would have expected. Well, no, sorry, something we did expect. I think we didn't expect it to be so soon. And
yes, that's the choice of word there.
he already has the contract. So it's just like, damn, well, he's not getting traded. I don't know who would want him uh, to. People are like, oh, he can get traded to the Lakers because he won't do that if he's on LeBron's team. And everyone thinks that him and LeBron have a great relationship. They do, but he also has a great relationship with Steph, and he's doing it to Steph's team. It doesn't matter. He's gonna do it if he wants to.
It's exactly
So I don't know. I
exactly.
think that's just Draymond though. Some people say it's Draymond being Draymond, but I'm not sure if you've seen me. You can see even the way Steve Kerr was talking about Draymond. He was kind of dismissive over him. He was like, "Yeah, he needs some help. It's the same guy that punched his teammate, same guy who stomped on someone, the same guy who choked someone, the same guy who punched. That guy needs help." Steve Kerr saying he needs help. So clearly something
He's right.
needs to be done. Yeah. So and like if he wasn't a champion, he'd be hurt. You had mentioned, I like how you helped me with the transitions. You had mentioned Darius Garland. Darius
Yeah,
Garland, I forgot how long he's out for. How long is he out for?
I
I know
feel
it's
like
a
I shouldn't say I feel, but the last time they updated the report, the 15th, right? ESPN, shout ESPN, it was like a couple of weeks, right, with a fracture, right? Face, what is it
yeah,
on jaw fracture?
it's a jaw
It's
fracture.
a jaw
It,
fracture,
it's,
right?
it says multiple weeks.
Multiple, so
Multiple
that
weeks.
probably is 4 to 6.
Right, for at least 4 to 6 weeks. And then also
Mm.
Evan Mobley's also out as well. He's also out for multiple weeks.
Yeah,
So I always think about this stuff like so you're these teams, right? Your second and third best player are out. What do you
literally.
do? What do you do? Do you like right now their record is 14 and 12, and you're missing your second and third best player. Is Donovan Mitchell's gonna score 60 a game?
He can't,
He's gonna
he
go
can't.
Kobe, what? Kobe did that what? Oh 06 or something? Oh seven.
Oh 06, Kobe was going crazy. Yeah, oh 06. That was when he dropped the 81. Yeah.
Yeah. And he had no choice. He dropped like 40s, 50s, then the 81, then 40 again, and he just kept going.
That was a legendary season still. He was like literally he was just tunnel vision. Like
Yeah,
I'm not seeing anyone on my team. I'm seeing the ball and me, the rim. That's it. But
because Donovan
when you're
Mitchell,
tanking,
he
mm,
I I look at the standings, they're 14 and 12. If you lose Garland and Mobley, you can still like at the end of the day, we've talked about Detroit, we're gonna get to. They're not. Washington is nobody. Charlotte don't have Melo Ball. They're nobody. Chicago will be trading their players. I know they've actually won a couple games recently, but they're going to trade their players. So Atlanta and Toronto are fighting for that 10th, and so is eventually Brooklyn. So if you're Cleveland, you're like, you know what? Like, I would have to be really bad to miss a play-in spot to be because especially let's say Toronto decides to trade his players, Cleveland would have to be really bad to do that, but they're not going to be good for a while. For a while, it's going to be losing those two guys is a big hit, don't you know?
it's a huge hit, man. Because who's really running your offense? You already have Rubio out for from you didn't even play any games in the season with mental illness, right? So
Yeah,
he's already out.
right.
So you're already down, and he could run the offense. I didn't like how he could shoot, but let's be honest, Rubio can he moves the ball, he makes
He
right
moves the
decisions,
ball.
right?
Yeah,
He's a veteran too as well, so you need that, right? Cavaliers right now it's a bigger burden on Mitchell to score, right? Way bigger
much
burden.
bigger.
But the thing is to tank. I kind of see them like to be honest, they're not gonna have that good of a record still, but I don't see them as below Chicago and Charlotte and no one's gonna catch Detroit. You know what I
No
mean?
one's getting it. You
Like
can't
let's
catch
keep
him.
it
You can't
buck,
catch him.
right?
You
So
can't catch him.
so like what am I seeing them as? Let's say maybe 10th or 11th worst, right?
Right, right.
In the East, right? And that's
Because you would have
uh,
to have such a, like I said, they're 14 and 12. You would need to even keel it for the next 4 to 6 weeks. So
yeah.
the next month and a half, you have to be kind of even keel. And then when they come back, need to go on a run. Like people are
Big
like, oh,
time.
they're on a 6 game winning streak. They're on a 7 game winning streak. Oh, they've won last 5 of 8 or 5 of 7, I should say. Like you have to
Mhm.
go that. Because if you don't go that, like you're falling down the standings. Mind you, fully healthy, I still like the East is weird. Fully healthy, you don't want to play certain teams, right? Fully
Exactly.
healthy Cleveland
You
would
don't
still be a headache to compete against.
a lot of length there, and to contain Donovan Mitchell, Garland, it's a lot. It's a
Right.
lot.
When Garland's going crazy, he's going crazy.
You
And
can dribble, man. You can dribble.
so Karis LeVert would have to step up. So would Allen. He would have to step up. Max Strus, which I believe he could as well. Like there's still good players on the squad. I think there's
Oh yeah, they got my boy Maxi.
yeah.
Oh my goodness!
So
Shout out to
they should still be
damn.
they'll still be a good team for sure. Donovan
Yeah.
Mitchell knows how to win regular seasons.
Here's the thing. Honestly, I see them like if I'm gonna give you this example. If they didn't have Garland or Mobley for the season, from the beginning of the season to end of the season, I see Cavaliers finishing with maybe with the same roster. I'm gonna say 33 wins,
Right,
right? 34 wins. I'm gonna
right,
say 33 to 36 wins
right.
with that roster, without those two, right? So I see them looming around 500-ish below, right?
Without
Till
them.
Garland and Mobley come back. To be honest, like because when you're looking at the standings, it's like okay, Raptors, Hawks. It's like the Pacers. They're gonna. I feel the Pacers are gonna continue to go up a little bit. They're gonna stay and go up. They're not gonna
Right,
drop.
right, right,
Right.
right.
Right. The Knicks. Hey, the Knicks are playing
They're,
decent.
they're good.
They're playing decent, right? So, and the teams above, we say less about the teams above them, right? But the Cavaliers, the Nets, the Hawks, the Raptors, those four teams are you know what I mean? 3.5 games between each the four of them, right?
Right.
So with that being said, I don't see them going past 11th max, right? Period. If they
Period.
drop, period.
And that
So
10-11 is probably gonna fight the whole year, right? It's
they're gonna
gonna fight the whole
definitely fight
year.
the whole year. They're gonna make the play in, right? And that's how I feel they're gonna finish. That's my perspective.
Yeah, they would have to legit go on a run. They would have to. Or like Donovan Mitchell would almost borderline have to like we're like the record wouldn't show it, but his game would be MVP type.
I was
Where
gonna
he
say he
says,
has to be in the conversation for MVP for these. Yeah, he has to be.
without those two guys, you would have to
Yeah,
be,
yeah.
right? And this is where like I know it sounds crazy, but then you know what? If Donovan Mitchell doesn't want to stay, this is your perfect time. Like the way the Cavs, I predicted the Cavs to be like second. I actually believed in this team a lot.
You,
I predicted them second or first because Donovan Mitchell, even when he's in Utah, the man knows how to win regular season games.
he
He knows
does.
how
He
to
does.
win them,
He
right?
definitely does. He's been winning regular season games.
But I think him and Garland don't go well together. Mobley isn't what everyone wants him to be,
Mm,
right? He's not what everyone wants. Everyone thought they were getting the next. People were talking about Tim Duncan. They're talking about Anthony Davis. Mind you, when guys are young, people just throw comps at them like, oh, he's the next this, next that. Let the man develop and let's see
please.
what can happen, right?
Yeah.
But people are just throwing all these labels. I actually really like the Cavs team. I like you said, Max Strus. I like oh, what's his name? He's actually one of the most winningest players in the league. George Niang. Oddly enough, his like
Shout out to
winning
Niang.
percentage is he has a high winning percentage. So all those things, I'm like, no, this Cleveland team is good. But this year they haven't played well. This is where like, we talk about basketball all the time. And to go on a little bit of a side tangent, um, basketball is also very simple to me. When you have a guy like Donovan Mitchell, you don't pair him with a Garland. You pair
Mm,
Donovan Mitchell with a small forward like uh like a Paul George,
okay.
or you pair him with a center. Like he could either be a center like Rudy Gobert, like that.
Okay.
But then if he has a Rudy Gobert, he needs a Paul George, a small forward. But if he
Yeah.
has a scoring center, it matches well. I think basketball, like it's all about fitting together. Kobe and Shaq fit together, right? That was a perfect fit. Two
Who would you
guards
have
don't
as a
fit
guard for them then,
for who?
for Cavs? Who would go well
Well,
as a guard with Mitchell?
if see the thing, I wouldn't have Garland at all. I would never pair them together. I would have
Okay.
paired if you paired a guard. Honestly, it's borderline guys like Mike Conley, guys like
Okay.
Kyle Lowry, guys like
Okay.
Chris Paul. I've never been a Chris Paul fan, never been a Devin Booker fan. But if you tell me that Devin Booker and Chris Paul are on the same team, they're gonna win games because Devin Booker and Chris Paul match each other,
Yeah.
right? Chris Paul is not a shooting point guard. He's not a scoring. He's not a scorer. He wants to facilitate the ball. Devin Booker is a scorer, right? The reason why Derek Fisher mattered so much is because he what he did for
Deep
those
fish.
guys.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so I feel like basketball sometimes can be simple. We'll talk about the Clippers probably right after this, but like the Cavs didn't make sense. So to me, I'm calling New York. Hey, what can I get? He's available. I'm
Hmm.
pulling the trigger because New York is ready to make the move. I think they're ready. You guys want to get him anyway. Trade me 3 picks and RJ Barrett. You say
Mm.
no? I like probably RJ and Quentin Grimes. So I'm getting two young guys. I'm getting two young guys, RJ and
Man,
Quentin, right? That literally now the Cavs. You think about it, for the Cavs, you're Garland, Grimes, Barrett, Mobley, Allen. That's a still fucking good squad.
that's a very good squad.
But it's still like,
That's
but
a
now
very good
Garland
squad.
knows. Now Garland's like, okay, it's my official team. There's
Yeah,
nobody taking my spot. Barrett is
yeah.
not taking my spot. Grimes is not taking my spot.
They're just gonna be the 1-2,
Just
Garland
one,
and
two.
Bear, right? That's
Right,
it.
right. And
And
you still
still,
have
and
Mobley.
still, Bear is gonna have room to develop. Maybe even more room to develop because over there you still have Randall taking Randall shots, right?
Right.
Brunson knows what it is, and Brunson is scoring the most points on the squad. So
He
RJ's
is.
still developing, but in Cavalier land, man,
It'd be nice, right? And then if with New York, you have a Brunson, a Garland, which I know I just said that Garland and Garland and Mitchell don't. Brunson and Mitchell don't match either. Especially when Brunson's been playing lately. Brunson and Mitchell don't match. Mitchell is a lead guard. He doesn't need unless Brunson turns into a Kyle Lowry, which he has the makings of it. But I think Brunson wants to score. I think
yeah. Now
once you get
Brunson is a better is a better Lowry still. Like that's yeah.
right,
Brunson
right.
is he
So
can score. He has
he
great
can
footwork. He
oh
scores in the paint. He's not jumping over you. He's not running by you like that, but he just crafty. Man, shout to Villanova.
legit shout out to Nova. So like that is like the squad, and then you have a Randall or something, or then you may have to trade. I don't know. If I'm them, I may be going like big game hunting. I'm trying to see who wants Randall. I'll try to pair him up with this, try to get some draft picks or whatever. But
Yeah, I would move Randall if I'm the next GM. Yeah, I
oh,
would call
easily.
him. Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Randall is like
And I like Randall. I like
it's
Randall
weird,
overall. I
right?
like Randall. I
He's a
like
20
Randall
and 10.
overall.
He's
Yeah,
like 22, 24 and 10, and like 5 assists. He gets stats.
yeah, yeah. He's very aggressive. He wants the rebound. He's very aggressive. Like I like his aggressiveness, but I'm thinking GM. We're thinking GM. You got to make certain moves.
It's funny. Randall's not on our rundown, but you said because you mentioned him, I want to chat about it for a second. And because our Cavs talk is done. But like
Okay.
for Julius Randle, we like the whole world. This man's a two-time All-NBA player. He really is. Just like Pascal, it literally went for the past few years. Pascal, Julius Randle, Pascal, Julius Randle, like for the power forwards that made the third team All-NBA. Julius Randle's a 20, like 20, so 20 to 24, 10 rebounds a game, 5 assists a game. Why don't people want to keep him on the New York Knicks? Like you said you would trade him. I would trade him. What's wrong with Julius Randle? Because not a lot of people want him on the team.
I'm gonna tell you one thing: playoff basketball.
That's true.
That's one of the main things. He is choking in the playoffs, and he's taking ill-advised shots in general. He'll be making them more in the regular season, but how good of a shooting percentage does Julius Randle really have? You know what I
Correct.
mean? Overall, right? You have to look at those sort of stats, right? He is aggressive. He wants to get to the rim. He attacks the rim. He guts on the offensive glass, the defensive glass, right? There's great things about Randle, but me as a GM, it's like, okay, we want to get to the promised land and bring home a ring, right? That's every GM and coach's goal, period, right? And Randle, I'm sorry, but you don't perform in the playoffs, right? We can't tolerate that. And it's not 1, 2 years. It's been the last 4 seasons with the Knicks, I believe. It's 4 seasons, right? Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah.
He his efficiency is pretty good. I didn't know Brunson averaged 25 points. I'm assuming it's because of that big, like, he scored 50 or something like that. Like, I
He's
didn't know he was
scoring.
going like that.
He's scoring. And he had a
He,
37 game not too long ago. He's scoring.
so Randall's a 30% three-point shooter, which is not bad. 46
30? Hold
percent,
on. Sorry to pause you. 30 flat?
30.3% three-point shooter, yeah.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not
That's
good. That's
not,
not
but the efficiency is kind of low. Um,
a 3-point shooter.
but like you said, what the problem is the ill-advised shots. It's the you're not playing within the offense. You're kind of just doing your own thing, right? Yeah, that's why the Knicks won't do anything. You're right in the playoffs. There's too much. Okay, Brunson, it's your turn. Barrett, it's your turn. Randall, it's
Exactly.
your turn.
Exactly.
There has to be the thing is
That,
everyone can score 25 points. We can all do it, but still make it within the flow of the offense. There's a lot of like ISO-ness when they play. But
you're
yeah, I
absolutely
just
right.
it's something that's different with them. So a next team that I wanted to talk about, or yesterday, Keegan Murray. I'll talk about him real quick. He was
Shout out.
12 of shout outs Keegan Murray, 12 of 13 shooting the three. There was a report that the Raptors, if they were to trade to either OG or Pascal to Sacramento, they want a few picks, but they definitely want Keegan Murray. Keegan Murray just shot 12 of 13 shooting the three. So I'm Messiah, okay? You're the Kings. Can we have Keegan Murray? What would you say?
Masai Ujiri. Hi.
Yep.
Keegan Murray's how old?
He's 22, 23.
He's 22, 20. Okay, I'm sorry. Keegan Murray's off limits right now, but we
Okay.
have other players available.
Oh,
But
sorry
we're not
about that. Thank
keeping
you so much.
We're not
Thank
keeping you. Have a good day. Have a good day.
you. Like, there's no way. He's 22. There's no way shooting 12 of 13. And he did that because there was no Sabonis and there was no Fox. So you're telling me Sabonis looks like a very easy player to play with. Sabonis will
Very.
probably take an L and be like, I'll be third fiddle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Heck, I'll be
He
fourth.
wants to win.
Monk is going off. I'll be fourth. I'll get rebounds. So, like, sorry, Raptor fans, you're not getting Keegan Murray.
Ah.
Just want to throw that in. If we
And
get
you
Keegan
were
Murray,
talking about we need shooters. We need like shooters, not
right,
inconsistent. You got to legit close out.
right.
But did Daniel Marshall hit 12 with the Raptors, or was it with the Cavs or the Warriors?
He hit with the Raptors at 12.
It was with the Raptors, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so
yeah. But like Keegan going 12 or 13, there's no way that you can call them and be like, we'll give you Pascal, who's a 25% three-point shooter.
it's that low.
That low. And we'll take your 40+% three-point shooter, who's actually been pretty good defensively this year. But here's Pascal, because we think with Pascal you'll be better. Pascal and Sabonis are actually not Pascal can't shoot the three well enough to put those two together. So it doesn't work. OG, the thing is, if you're the Kings, OG is the player you want because of the 3 and D ability, because they are horrible defensively as a team. And Mike Brown is a great defensive coach. So having an OG is what they actually need. And if they traded OG for Keegan Murray, oh, that would be
Yeah, who
excellent.
would you consider their shot blocker on the Kings? I know we're not, but who's the shot blocker on the Kings? Like who's the guy in the paint where it's like I'm going to paint, I gotta fear my shot getting blocked.
I think they have JaVale McGee now, no?
I
I
have
think they have
JaVale.
JaVale McGee. So
So
that is probably their best shot blocker. But other than that, I wouldn't say
he's
there's
getting minutes.
anyone. There's nobody. Fox, Dirty Fox, probably their best shot blocker. I would say, why is this? I literally went on the Clippers, which we're about to talk about the Clippers as well.
Shout out to the Clippers. That is just
They went
their
on the
curse of the day.
seven game run. So for the Kings, they're they're JaVale McGee. So you can technically say that he's a shot blocker. Am I crazy? I did not know Darren Fox was averaging 30 points a game.
No, he's balling this year. He is balling, De'Aaron Fox. It's
Wow.
ridiculous.
That's casual of me. And when I look at Sabonis, Sabonis' lines are beautiful. He's 18, 12, 18, 12, and 7. That's nice.
Hold on, Sabonis getting 7 assists.
Yeah,
Sabonis,
it's a bonus.
damn.
That's good. That is good. And look at like the three-point shooting. Fox is a 38% three-point shooter.
Yeah, he got a
Sabonis
lot
is
better.
38. Monk is 42%. Barnes is 38%. The Raptors are begging for these stats, these
Yes,
percentages. They're begging for these
shooters,
percentages. Damn,
shooters.
just
Yeah,
needing of them. Yes, Raptor fans, you're not getting it. Just
and you
wanted to bring
have
that
a
up.
38% three-point shooter that can shoot better off the dribble.
Yes, yeah. You're not. Sorry about that.
Right?
For Pascal, 25%, and I love Pascal. They're hanging up the phone. OG was a 40% three-point shooter and plays defense. Sacramento would pick up the phone for OG, in my opinion. I think they would. But does OG get them the title? That's the question you have to ask yourself.
OG, I like OG a lot. It's just when I see OG dribble,
Yeah, he should never.
it's like once he really gets a handle, it's
It could be
lift off.
scary. Yeah, it
Like
could be scary.
literally lift off.
It could be
But
scary. So the next thing I want to talk about was Giannis.
shout
Yeah.
out.
Giannis
Six.
got really angry a few games ago, yelling at Tyrese Halliburton and a lot of the people. For those who don't know, he he got 60 points, and he got the most points, 60 plus points, the most points in Bucks history, and he wanted the game ball. And he
Understand.
didn't get the game ball. Someone must have taken the game ball. They gave it to an Indiana player who had his first career point ever, and they wanted to give it to him. Giannis was quite furious. Was Giannis justified?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I appreciate, and I don't even know who got the first point ever in their NBA career, but whoever you were, congratulations, right?
Congrats.
From my heart and from your heart, congratulations. But Giannis is a Hall of Famer
Hall
that
of Fame
had 60 at home.
at
Put
home.
some respect on his name and give him the game ball. You know what I mean? Put some
So
respect on his name and give him the game ball. There are how much NBA players that had their first point? Should they all have a fucking basketball? You know what I mean? It is what it is. We may want, you know what I mean? It is what it is, but this is a record. Like this is
right,
a record. So you have to respect a record. I get personal records and personal bests are
right,
don't get it twisted. It means a lot. It means a lot. But a record is
right,
different.
right.
So you have to, you know what I mean? It comes down to a record. So that's all I have to say. Record.
Yeah,
Period.
yeah. A record versus a personal. You go with the record. If it was
Like,
someone's first point, well, LeBron got the most points. What are we talking about? LeBron's most points is what we're giving into, right?
bro.
That's where the ball's going. And also, the Bucks won. He gets the game ball. If Indiana won, you can almost say, you know what? My bad. We were just thinking we wanted to give it. That's
Yeah,
where
yeah,
I can see it. But then I'm like, okay, that makes more sense. But Giannis was a hella angry. Another
yeah.
thing I added to the rundown is Bradley Beal out for multiple weeks because it's like he played 5 minutes. It was the first game we got the three. The first game we got these three guys,
No, no, no. It
and
was no, no, no. It was literally the second game. The
the second
sec.
game,
It was the second game, right? But
yeah,
yeah,
and then he's out. He's out.
Vincenzo kind of undercut him a little bit when he's
You think
closing
so?
out. I can't even say really like he didn't. It wasn't an undercut. It was just basketball. You're playing basketball, playing
Yeah.
defense. That's
Yes.
all.
It happens.
And I'm just
Sometimes it
like,
happens.
wow, this guy's out. You waited 1/3 of the season for these guys to play together, and then he's
Right.
out. And it's just, these guys are not making out the West. I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear any Phoenix fans say these guys are making out the West.
Never, never. I don't believe in this team ever. Like if I see anybody say Phoenix are a team to look out for, and no, not at all. Let's no KD. I know how you feel about KD.
Hmm.
No, no, and
Hmm.
I like we all like KD. KD's a great player, one of the best players of all time. No question
Agreed.
about it. No one's
Agreed.
ever questioning that. I question the team. Right? I question the team. KD is probably better when he's playing around like a bunch of guys. Like he's better around non-stars. Like maybe give him a little bit of a star, like almost like I would say a B level star. Like if KD was with a a Mikal Bridges, KD would be like explosive, and that team would be so great. But when
Yeah.
he's with
Yeah.
guys who he's counting on, he shouldn't. Like he counted on James Harden, counting on Kyrie, counting
That's a
on
very good choice of words. Guys he's supposed to count on. Very good choice of words, by the
he
way.
keeps counting on these guys,
Yeah.
right? Like he
Yeah.
didn't really count on the Warriors. He just went there. He
Yeah.
he
You
went
don't
to
need to
a
count on Warriors.
team.
You need to count on Curry.
You
Prime
don't
Curry.
need to count on Curry. You didn't like those guys are going to be there, but you counted on these guys to stay healthy. And Bradley Beal hasn't really been healthy for a few years, and it happens. Injuries and health happens, but has been healthy for a few years. Same with Devin Booker, and then yourself in KD has been hurt. So
Harden is not even not been healthy. Harden just doesn't want to play for teams after like 80 games.
after 50 games, he's like, I'm done.
You
He's
know what
like,
I
I
mean?
didn't get the ball enough. Speaking of Harden, let's move on to one of the main topics that we have today. No, I would say the Pistons talk is one of our main topics. But the Clippers, 1-7 straight. YS, tell me, do you believe in the Los Angeles Clippers? Is this the year? 7 straight. Kawhi's been a dog.
Yes, yeah.
28 plus points a game past seven, is averaging like 7 rebounds a game, a couple assists. He's been going crazy. Do you believe in the Clippers?
Man, I don't believe in anything the Clippers do.
Why not?
Man, these guys are gonna smoke. They're gonna choke, I should say, in the playoffs. Usual. These guys are not gonna know how to play together. It's looking like they're getting things together, sure, but man, let's keep it real. I know, and you know the Clippers overall. They'll get the players, they'll get the coaching staff, they'll have the great regular season record of 53 wins plus. And what happens? Second round out. It doesn't matter who's in in the uniform, who's coaching. It's always that case with the Clippers. So they got the names, right? They got the names, but I don't feel it's going to reflect in the playoffs. Right, the regular season is all good, right?
Yeah,
It's really when the playoffs come, what they're gonna do. And you know, and I know, Harden in the playoffs is atrocious in closeout games.
right.
Period, for any team.
I think Harden, you're right. I think they're probably going to be like the second seed or the first seed in the West. If they're getting along this well, they're another team. I'm not going to believe it until I see it. Until I can see them beat Denver in a 7 game series, I'm not picking them against Denver. I believe Denver is just a good team. Heck, honestly, with the game that I saw yesterday with OKC, and shouts out to OKC,
Shout out.
they're
Shout
not
out.
beating that team. I love my OKC team. They're not beating that team, especially if OKC decides to trade 3 of their 40 draft picks that they got. Because
They're
OKC is the most dangerous team in the whole
by
NBA.
far, by
They can
far.
just say, you know what, we can give you 5 of our draft picks, but we still got 20 plus more.
It's crazy. Yo,
We can
OKC
get whoever we
is like
want.
the best young team for the next 15 years in the NBA.
Yep,
Like literally.
easily. So I don't see the Clippers beating them. I think what's gonna happen, the Clippers can only be
Sorry to
successful.
interrupt. Getting back to that,
Yeah.
which team has more chemistry to you? OKC or the Clippers?
Clippers have no chemistry. They're just winning games, right? You're just winning games because
Right.
you're just more talented, like overall still. But James
Yes.
Harden in the playoffs, like you said, he's a career choker. But James Harden in the playoffs, he's gonna look at Kawhi, look at Paul George, and be like, James Harden, I have the MVP. Kawhi doesn't have a season MVP. Paul George doesn't have a season MVP. I have a season MVP.
Yeah,
Just
true.
dribble, 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 dribble for 20 seconds. Let me just go to work.
Yeah,
Because these guys
yeah,
don't have nothing.
yeah, yeah.
That's what I see. I see Russell Westbrook. I like Russell Westbrook. I
I
hope
do
he
too.
actually I hope somehow he's back on the Lakers or something. He never will be, but I like Russell Westbrook a lot. But to me, it's just like, no, they're gonna ruin it. The best version of this team is Kawhi going crazy and Paul George going crazy. And all we ask of James Harden is just be the third guy. But will he
Very.
want to be the third guy?
I feel like they have too much names and they need more role players that are going to play harder, if that makes sense, right?
They're not even playing PJ Tucker. He's not playing PJ Tucker. And he's the guy you're gonna need against Jokic because if you don't trust Zubac, who is your second? You don't have Plumlee anymore. Who's your
Yeah,
guy? Who's your second guy?
it's true. Shit.
And they want to play small. So you're gonna play their small lineup could be Norm, James, Kawhi, Paul, and who their fifth could be a Terrence Mann or
That's the
Terrence
five?
Mann or be Russell Westbrook. Right? Not the five, but that's the five guys they may want to close with.
Fuck.
Because Norman Powell's still averaging darn near 40% shooting the three. His catch and shoots are he's balling. Like, and
Well,
his averages are lower this year, but he's still the percentages are still pretty high.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
To this day, you know how much of a Norm fan I was. I don't want to say it was one of the worst Raptor trades, but it's there because you know my
Every time.
guy Gary Trent hasn't done anything
Not
for what
really.
Norm has done, right? This whole time, there was a stat that shown like all the Raptors trades and who has won in the past like few years. The Raptors have lost most of their trades because Norm is more efficient, shooting the ball better, all those things. Everything's a trickle down effect, and I know we always go on side tangents. I just think if Norm was on the Raptors, I could be wrong. I just feel like you would still have Nick Nurse and you still have Fred VanVleet. Not, I know the chemistry was a little off, but what the problem was last year was that the young guys were going against the old guys.
Yeah.
Well, if Norm was on and not Gary Trent, it'd be a lot more vets and one Scotty Barnes. And if you wanted to, at that time, you were thinking of trading Scotty Barnes for Kevin Durant. We just talked about Kevin Durant needing to be with people who are of a certain level. If KD, now we're just being crazier, but if KD was with Pascal, OG, Norm, and Fred, you can't say that's not a good fucking squad,
That's a great spot.
right?
That's a great
That
spot.
you can't say that, but that's a whole trigger. My whole point is that Norman's been playing great, but we both don't believe in the Clippers. Good job, Clippers. Good job.
No, they're not doing nothing. They're not
Me and
there.
you, we don't think you're better than Denver, and we just don't believe in you. We don't believe in you guys as a team. You and that's where I think as basketball fans and basketball guys who talk about basketball, we have to be honest, right? Like, not every team can win the title, but not every team is really qualified for the title. Just because they're good doesn't mean not like they're it. They're
That's
really
because
not.
they have a lot of great names on paper. We've seen so much seasons throughout NBA seasons where a team will come in with great names on paper and not
Right.
make it to the finals.
Not
Not
at
even
all.
make it to the finals.
Not at all.
So
It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't
it
mean.
really doesn't.
I wanted to mention something about Gilbert Arenas, but that was like in the beginning of the week. But we're gonna talk about the Pistons, so it's more like it's gonna go hand in hand. Um, Gilbert Arenas said Draymond Green is I'm not sure. I don't know if he's joking sometimes. I can't really tell Gilbert in his podcast, but it is kind of entertaining. He had mentioned that Draymond Green is trying to get rid of all the Europeans. It's like that's just a weird thing. Then he had talked about a Sir Tom. His last name's not Thomas. A Sir.
Thompson. Sir Thompson.
It's Thompson. Yeah, you're right. The
Yeah.
Sir Thompson. He passed a comment and said that Asur is not in our future. He's only averaging 10 points and he's 20 years old. He's not in our future. Horrible take.
That's the worst fucking take I heard in my life. I'm not even gonna
It's
lie.
it's a horrible take. He's literally a rookie. He's a
Literally.
rookie. And he's averaging like darn near 7 to 8 rebounds, one of the highest for his position in the league. And he's a rookie.
And
What are we
he's
talking about?
and he's to me an elite defender already
Already
as a rookie.
as a rookie. And Gilbert Arenas is acting like he had more than 10 points his first season. He did not. Gilbert Arenas had like 2, 3 years of like, I don't know. I'm trying to remember. Was it like 2 great years?
He
It
had
wasn't like a
three.
lot.
He had three and a half. I would say 4 great years. 4 great
That's it,
years,
right?
right?
But you're
He
moving,
started. He averaged 10 points when he came into the league. By the way, at 20, I believe.
right? But then they didn't give up on you. That's such a weird
Rosen
thing,
averaged 8.6 at 20. If you want to go through it, Aldridge averaged 9.1 points at 20.
right?
Tyrese Maxey averaged 8.0 points at 20. What's Tyrese Maxey doing? He's going off berserk this season. He should
Pascal
make the
averaged
All-Star team.
4. Pascal averaged like 4 points a game his first season. That's a
Exactly.
weird thing to say. That's weird. Oh, you're right. Like I'm looking at Garrett Gilbertina. He's a 3-time All-Star. He averaged 10, they went to 18, 19, 25, 29, 28, which is probably the crazy years. And then he averaged 22 points one season. No, I see. He was a scorer. He was
He was. He was.
definitely a scorer. He averaged 25 points in Washington as a whole. It's not bad. But like to me to see the person not your future is weird. Not a rookie. Not a rookie. That's a weird thing to say. Which
There's
leads
been too
us,
much Hall of Famers that have been averaged less than 10 or
yep,
10 as a rookie. Hall of Famers.
Hall of Famers.
So
It's just a weird thing to say. I don't know what, especially because Asir Thompson never came into the draft as a scorer. That's something
exactly.
he's gonna have to develop. Some guys just don't. He's one of the most athletic guys in the league. He's a
Yeah.
great defender, like you had said. He's a great rebounder.
His
That's a
shot is
one
not really there. And you can
right,
see when he
right. And
released
he's
him,
gonna
whatever
throw.
shots in there, but he's gonna develop it. But he's in Detroit, so how much do you expect him to develop right now as a rookie? And you know what I mean? They don't know what's going on in Detroit. How do you
Which
expect the rookie to know what's going on?
leads me to the Detroit conversation.
Like,
They are, I was gonna say pathetic, but that seems kind of harsh. They're
it
just
is what
sad.
it is.
23 in a row losses.
The last time they won was when the World Series was on.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Take
Last
that.
time you won, you lost. Come on. I'm thinking they lost 23 in a row. And they're 2-24. That means you guys were 2-1 at one point and just kept
That's
losing.
the record, 2-24.
They're 2-24 right now.
Oh my goodness. They were 2-1. There was high hopes for them at one point.
Because you have Monty Williams, one of the highest paid coaches, which doesn't really matter, but one of the more respected coaches in the league, and you can't win a game. Yeah, see, I'm looking at their record. They lost to Miami their first game, then they won against Charlotte, and they won against Chicago, and then they haven't won since. Last time they won was October 28th. Last time you won was before Halloween. You should be ashamed of yourself. Just loss after loss after loss. Like, what are you doing? What do you like as an organization? You should be embarrassed. You're definitely gonna get a top 3 pick, no doubt. People are already talking about Cade Cunningham as if he's a good player. Why, yes, tell me what's wrong with Detroit. And then after that, I'll ask you where you see their next win is. What's wrong with Detroit?
Detroit, man, Detroit just they don't have a clue right now. You have Killian Hayes still. Shout out to Killian Hayes. You know what I mean? What are you doing with him? Kate just seems like, he's just here to score, rebound, assist, get it. You know what I mean? Like everyone just seems like they're on their own page. Like they're playing the game, but they're not. I don't feel if all the guys on the squad love the game, right? On the Pistons. I don't feel they love the game. I feel select few of the guys love the game, but I don't feel like the squad loves the game. And I feel like the culture there's such a culture, there's not really a winning culture there, right? When has the Pistons last been decent consistently? When was the last time they were decent for a consistent amount of years?
The word consistent is the word, because they had a good, they were an eighth seed that like took, they got swept by LeBron. I remember that, but they were a really tough eighth seed. That was when Stanley Johnson was on the team, and he was talking mad dirt about LeBron. He said like LeBron's gonna have to be worried about me. That was a while ago. Like their last season that was good was Blake Griffin was an All NBA player, and they booed Blake Griffin, and he was an All NBA player. This is like probably 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay, so Pistons don't have Pistons, they don't have no winning culture. So players going there already, they know when players go to certain teams, like when players go to Miami, when players go to Los Angeles, when players go to Boston, it's like, okay, we know what type of organization we're going into. We know what to expect, what they expect from us. You see what I'm saying? With the
Yeah.
Pistons, you don't even get that. They don't play any defense. You know what I mean? Horrible shooting, right? It's all around. It's all around. It's all around bad. Like I haven't heard gunshot about Jaden Ivey at all this year, and he was supposed to be that guy last year as a rookie and building on that this year. And Cade coming back from an injury last year. I'm expecting to hear about these guys,
Right.
but I'm not really hearing about these guys. I don't really hear no big numbers, no one talking about them, no highlights. I'm supposed to be seeing some highlights from Ivy, right? You have the freedom, but it's
There's an issue with Ivy in the sense that like people think he may get traded because they're not prioritizing him. You're correct. They're not prioritizing Ivy. So he could be a trade candidate for them. My bold prediction about Detroit, which I think is going to come true because people are talking about it more, they're going to trade for somebody big. They're going for somebody. I don't sleep on a Zach LaVine to Detroit.
they're gonna have to give up. I
They're
think they're
okay
gonna
with
have
it
to give up.
because they know Cade is good. So they're willing to trade their young pieces for him. Because you mentioned, you know who the leading rebounder is? Asir Thompson. That's their
Mm,
leading rebounder right now.
mm,
A rookie is your leading rebounder. Not even a big rookie. He's not like he's 7 foot. The man
yeah,
is 6'8" or something like that. Like he's your leading rebounder. He's six
six,
six, even worse.
yeah, yeah.
205 pounds, even worse. One of
Oh
your
shit!
skinnier
He weighed
players,
more than that. I thought he weighed a little more than that.
right? Even when he's your leading assist, you have to trade Bogdan Bogdanovic because
Get
he's
rid
just
of him.
he's their vet. But other than that, we talked about it last week too. You need a veteran.
I mean, he's decent. He's drops 20 and he can hit that three, but
You need a vet. There's no
who's
veteran.
off
Who's leading this team?
limits if you're the GM? If you're is Casey the GM or Casey got moved? Is he still a GM?
Casey's like the consultant. He like
Okay.
basketball operations, but he has a lot to say. From what I've seen, he has a lot to say.
Okay, so who is off limits on the Pistons?
Only Cade.
Only Cade,
Only
right?
Cade.
I
Only
agree.
Cade.
I
And
agree.
maybe Jalen Duran, but it depends what I can get. If I so he's not off limits because yeah, 'cause I was if I can get something crazy for him, I'm gonna trade him. But he's young, and like he's a good size. But
You-
the actual untouchable is Cade. I'm not trading Cade, not at all. Imagine they had Keegan Murray.
Keegan Murray and Cade. That's a nice little.
That's a nice touch, right? Cade is a nice player. I thought Cade would have almost like he's already been good, but I thought he almost have a breakout season.
The
But
thing is, like, even though he's good and playing decent, you guys lost 23 straight.
23 straight. That's a loss.
So nothing matters. You could have a 40 and it's like, okay, that's a loss, right?
It's bad. So we're not doing an Ask Scully section for the day, but this can almost turn into it. I'm gonna give you the rest of their games, and you just tell me if where do you see a win. Their next game is tomorrow against Atlanta, or today whenever you're watching it. But like against Atlanta, win or loss.
I can't. Here's the thing. I don't expect these guys to lose the rest of the season, and nor they
It
should.
it it,
Right?
it darn near should be impossible.
But they're
With
gonna
the
lose
three
against the
point
Hawks.
shooting, it's crazy.
They're
It's a
gonna lose
loss
against
against
the.
Atlanta.
They're gonna lose against the Hawks.
Okay, next is Utah. Sorry, I should have said there's the losing streak, like the longest losing streak of all time, is 28 games. Now, to put a star on that, it's a weird one. It was an 18 game losing streak that season ended to the following season that then it was a 10 or flop, but there was a losing streak, season ended, start a new season, losing streak. So not sure if you want to
I don't think that
consider
should
that.
count, because that's different teams, that's different rosters. So, but
It's
whatever,
different.
whatever.
It's different. But I think they counted as the longest team losing streak. Okay. So okay, they lost against Atlanta. That'll be 24 straight. Um lose to
Are they
Utah?
playing in Utah? Is it in Salt Lake City?
It's in Utah.
Shit, they'll lose
No, no,
that.
no. It's not sorry, it's at home. It's in Detroit.
They could win that game. I think they could win before the year's done, but close to the end of the year. That's how I feel.
Because then I don't know when the next win will be. Because they face Brooklyn, and Brooklyn will beat them because they're just
Yeah,
better.
yeah,
Boston, slaughtered. They're getting slaughtered against Boston.
yeah. They
And
should.
then on the 30th, on Saturday, they face the Raptors, which Raptor fans I've seen on Twitter are making jokes to say, oh, they're going to beat the Raptors.
Nah, nah,
Um,
no, nope, nah. It
if
could be
it,
that Utah game. If they don't win against Utah, then they're winning next year, a game in next year. Because to
okay,
me,
so
that's the shot to win against Utah.
so Atlanta, Utah, Brooklyn, Boston, Toronto. That's six. That would make them at 29 games. That the Toronto game is either they reach history or they end up not doing it. So if they lose to Toronto, they make history being the longest losing streak of all time.
It's kind of like they do that on purpose because they know Detroit and Toronto games are kind of shaky since Casey got from the
Yeah,
Raptors, right?
it
So
was
they
very
just
shaky.
like, you
But
know what I mean?
I think when they Toronto faced them, Toronto had 142 points.
Oh,
Crazy.
yeah, they
Um,
play no defense. It's
they don't,
Pistons.
right? So, and like who? No one can really guard Scotty. The only person that like now that they have Bogdan, things can be different. But like think they're losing by so much. Losing by like 10 points each game.
Didn't they lose by to the Bucks the other day, by like 50 or
It
40
was
something?
close. I think it was very close. Like Giannis's brother played early. Giannis's sons came to the bench. Like it's disrespect, low key. Okay, so that's 29. The the following year, oh my God,
Oh man.
it's even worse. Like it's even worse because it's a four game um away streak. So they're not home, right? Against Toronto, at least they're in Detroit. But as we are both from Toronto, Toronto fans watch Detroit games.
Yes,
I've been in
yes,
Windsor.
yeah.
It would have taken me 20 minutes to get from Windsor to the Detroit Stadium.
Was that close
It's
from Windsor?
so low. It's crazy close. Crazy.
Serious.
It's that close. 20 minutes. Legit. It's bananas. So but it's so Toronto fans will be there. So it's really a home game for Toronto. And it's been like that for years
Yeah, yeah.
when they face them. Okay, so their first game for the new year is against, I'm gonna say this, your, I'm pointing at you, your Houston Rockets, because they are yours, and they're doing well. I'm saying yours, but they're doing really well.
They're
Uh,
losing to the Rockets. They're
but
losing.
they're losing to the Rockets. Utah again, but this time in Utah.
Okay, they're going to lose in Utah. They have to get the first game. If they don't get the first field, they're losing
Right. So
Utah. They're not
Utah,
winning public.
Golden State.
Shit, they're not winning Golden State.
I want to say Golden State is a wild card but it's Golden State at home. Because if Steph is
Yeah,
playing, Steph is not losing, I don't think. Denver, of course, Denver home. You
that's a
slaughtered.
loss. That's a loss.
Um, Sacramento.
These are some playoff teams they're playing against. That's a loss.
Okay, the Sacramento's a back-to-back. And mind you, against Sacramento, they're home, but still a loss. Now they face San Antonio.
That could be interesting.
That could be interesting.
That could be
Then
interesting.
then they face Houston again. Then they
I'm
face
thinking that could be
Washington.
interesting.
So Washington is January 15th. So the Houston, I think Houston's actually a really good team.
It seems like the Pistons could win 2 games or maybe three in January. Maybe three in January. They could win.
If they can, like you said, the Utah one, the San Antonio one, and they face Washington. Because I'll tell you then, after that, no. They have they have Minnesota, the best team in the West, Milwaukee twice. Okay, there's a Charlotte. There's a Charlotte there. But that's OKC, Cleveland, Clippers, Orlando, Sacramento. There's a Portland game. That's in February.
These guys sound like they're going to win maybe 12 games for the season.
It looks like because I'm looking at their schedule. It Detroit fans, you guys are in trouble because it
12 or
goes.
15 games. Yeah.
Yeah, that February schedule looks kind of crazy. Clippers, Lakers, Phoenix, Indiana, Orlando, New York.
Oh, shit.
Chicago may be bad at this time. If they're trading all their players, they may be
Yeah.
bad. Yeah, you're this team may not win more than 10 games.
If they really win like 9 games, I'm very surprised. I'm very surprised.
Yeah, because if you're losing now the way they're losing, unless like especially if you keep Bogdan, I think then there could be a game that you can steal here or there.
Mhm.
But if Bogdan's gone and you trade him, I'm not sure if I see another win.
These guys are gonna have like 35% chance of number 1 pick or
Yeah,
something
yeah.
losing like
There's no way you can win. Like you're barely winning games now. Teams are pretty much crushing you. A team would have to basically shoot like 20% from three, and your team alone would have to be shooting like darn near 45% from three.
Hmm.
That's what it would have to be.
The thing is, these guys are made players, so they could get hot one night. Still, the
That's what
Pistons.
everyone's saying. That's why people are disappointed in 23 game loss. So I don't know. It's kind of Detroit's sad. Detroit's very sad. I want to give a quick shout out to Dylan Brooks and the Houston Rockets. Dylan Brooks hit a game winner against the Grizzlies. Shout out to Dylan Brooks. Shout out to Dylan Brooks.
Shout out to Dylan Brooks against his former team,
Gets his
right?
former team. So
See it.
who gets Jaw in like a week or so.
You know,
Um,
get Jaw. It's Tuesday. It's this
this come
Tuesday. It's this coming
oh
Tuesday. And who are they playing against? Tuesday.
I didn't see, but that
Check
could
who
be
they're
a
playing.
good game.
Interesting game. I believe it's an interesting game who they're playing against on Tuesday.
I would like to see that. So Tuesday, the Pelicans. I think it's
Yep.
on TNT. So I think they
Yep.
knew that he's coming back.
Yep. So you take that in, right? They're playing the Pelicans, the number 1 and 2 pick from that year's draft. I hope Zion is playing, and I hope he's not huffing and puffing too much.
That'd be cheeseful. Oh wow. Wow, 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 wow. Yeah, that is the 25th. Yeah, that makes sense. Um, so the shout to Dylan Brooks. So I was so on Twitter, right? I always hear people talk about it, but I didn't know what it meant. Being on Spaces, it's like basically somebody hosts something on Twitter, and it's like a live like forum of people talking, right? Someone hosts it, and some people talk on it, like a live podcast type of thing with people talking about whatever sports team or I've seen this like even like love and hip hop type spaces where people are just talking whatever they want to talk. So I think it started during the pandemic. I was on a Hawks spaces with Hawks fans, right? After they lost to the Raptors the first game. And the way they were talking, I just wanted to quickly mention it to you. They do not like DeJounte Murray. From the fans that were on that, I can't say all fans, but those Atlanta fans, they want DeJounte Murray traded.
I wonder why though.
They
What?
barely like Trey Young, barely like him. They think Trey Young is a ball hog, but they understand that he's a good player. So they're like pair him up with someone better. They don't think DeJounte Murray brings anything to the table. They're like, he
Well,
doesn't bring anything to the table, so why is he here?
the man is bringing like elite defense. I swear he averages the most steals in the league, stuff like that. Like he's
I think
not.
they and he is a really good jumper,
Yeah,
really good jumper, consistent jumper.
I
So
think just Atlanta fans are frustrated. I don't know.
they are because they predicted their team to be much better. I don't remember where you had them. I think I had them above the Raptors though, and because I heard that the talk about the Hawks, a lot of people thought they'd be a top six team, but they just haven't been good. Like they're as disappointing. I know I've been on Raptor spaces recently, which it's actually I feel like I've gone stupider listening to that. Because I can't listen to Raptor fans talk about tanking because every day I hear it, I'm more and more against it
Yeah,
because I don't want to watch them lose. I'm sorry.
me
I don't want to
neither.
watch them lose. I don't want to waste my day watching them lose. Like I'm too much of a sports fan to want to watch my team lose. Like unless you're telling me Victor is on, oh everyone pretend to be injured. Let's get Victor Wembanyama. Like tell me that's happening. Tell me I'm getting Tim Duncan. Tell me I'm getting LeBron. I'll tank. But
And
if I'm
no
not
shit.
getting that, I don't want it.
We've, as Raptor fans, we've seen the losses with the Bargnani years,
Right.
the Damon Stoudemire years,
Right.
you know what I mean, Chris Bosh years. We just seen so much years of losing.
Yeah.
We
I don't want to
earned
see
our
it.
right to have a team that's decent, even though we're winning rings, like 500 at least
Right.
for the season. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like we deserve that.
Yeah.
So I want to hear
I,
none about
I want that.
tanking.
Oh,
Tanking pisses me off still. I'm
hey, I
not gonna.
don't ever want to hear tanking. Tanking is for other people. Yeah. So in the Hawk spaces, they don't really talk very. They are not a fan of the way the offense is ran. So it was just funny that I listened to all that.
Really.
I mentioned this guy last week. I've been mentioning him a bunch of times. Now there's a report that Lauri Markkinen is
Mm.
on the block. He's on the trade block in case Utah wants to do it. I'm and they're already saying the team that may go after him is the team that we both just said is the most dangerous team in the league is OKC. I don't know who they would trade, but clearly you have draft picks. You're trading draft picks. You have bare draft picks.
Yeah, trade like three of the 40 draft picks and like maybe someone on the squad. That's like, you know what I
Because Lauri
mean?
Markkanen's contract is only 18 mil.
It's only what?
Only 18 million. That's it.
Lord
So
Market.
yeah,
He was like 25, like 8 rebounds. He's
that's why
shooting
his
like
next contract is going to
38%
be a
from
max
three.
contract. His next contract will be a very good contract.
Because a
So
lot of guys at OKC is still in their rookie contract, right? Aside from Shea,
exactly. So
right?
you put Laurie there. So you're telling me you have Shea, one of the best point guards in the league. You have Chet Holmgren, the rookie of the year. Laurie
Yeah,
Markkinen, a
I know you
man
said that.
we had to. Laurie Markkinen is a 20 to 25 point scorer, shoots lights out.
Yes. And he'll catch a lob and dunk on you.
Jalen
Don't
Williams is a great 3
This
and
guy's
D.
getting better. He's getting better. He's
You have
getting
Dort. So you're telling me you have a flipping squad. Now I do think like they will need interior defense. Like they will need
Chet had
a
nine
center.
blocks.
He
Chet
did,
had
but
nine
like
blocks. It's
he's
good.
not
They'll
big
get
enough
better.
still. He's not
Yeah,
big enough. Unless he gets like KG strong, because KG was strong.
he will. He will. I feel he's not going to be able to get. I'm not going to say be able to, but he's not going to be one of those players to be. He's not going to get to Giannis size. I don't think. Like
Right,
KG, like you said, get
right.
to a KG size. Because every time I see him play and dunk and lay it up, he's always falling. If you really take
Yeah.
it, he's
He's
always
small.
falling.
He's a
Yeah,
small
yeah.
guy. So imagine Laurie on that. But like I said, if he's ready and free, Toronto, call. Here's 2 picks. Here's Gary Trent Jr. and I'll give you Precious Achua. Because to me, you get a 40% shooter with an already OG 40% shooter, plus a Pascal. Come on.
I'm running him at the five. Fuck it. I'm running him at the five. I'm going at the five. I'm going small.
But Scotty can play the five. Scotty can play like five sometimes, and he plays five all the time, right?
Shit. So I'm running that five then. I'm running Barnes. I'm running, yeah. Because then you
Yeah.
have space for Siakam.
You have spacing for Siakam. You have spacing for Barnes. Like Barnes is shooting 40% above the break
This
right
is
this
crazy.
season. So like to me, if you got a Laurie Markkinen shooting 40%, Honestly, like I'm just saying, I'm trading 2 draft picks and someone for Laurie Markkinen, 100%. I think he's worth it. Raptor fans can say like he's that the team is still kind of mid, but I'm like, if you believe in Scotty's trajectory, like if you still feel like Scotty has like at least another level or two, then this you're okay with it because you still have the one of the best wing defenders in OG, a great post player and Pascal, and you have Scotty Barnes and you have Laurie Markkinen. I'm sorry, like the ability to score is like endless, right? So
Yeah.
that's just my thought. But that leads us to now our Raptors talk, right? One of the most this sounds kind of weird to say. One of the sadder things that I read is that out of all the healthy teams in the league, the Raptors are third healthiest team in the league. So they've had the least games missed. Why does that suck? Is because you're 9-14, and you have or you're 10-15, sorry, and you've had the least game missed. That means you had healthy guys and you're just losing games.
We're still not that bad. Like out in the playoff picture, like we're still not playing. You know, we're 11.
You're
You're,
you're 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 optimistic and I'm optimistic. And like, because you're right. I don't think even watching the team, you're not that bad. It's
you
it's almost simple why you're losing games, and everyone's seeing it. You beat Atlanta by doing a few things. You beat Atlanta by letting Pascal shoot from the corner and running the game through Pascal and Barnes. They had a ton of touches that game. You lost against Atlanta because all of a sudden Schroeder started touching the ball more, which needs to stop. It just needs to stop. And
It was
then
against the whole team, and you wanted touches.
it's crazy. Everyone's seeing it that this team would actually win games. Everyone's complaining about the same thing. Scotty, OG, and Pascal, they were scoring 20 points a game, like 2 games in a row, 3 games in a row, especially Scotty and Pascal. What are we
Yeah,
talking? These guys can play together, clearly.
they can, they can, they can.
Oh, but let's let Dennis and Jakob play pick and roll today. I don't need pick and roll. Some randomly times it's fine. I don't need Dennis Schroeder holding the ball for 18 seconds. I don't need it.
Too much because that's what Luca does. Luca's effective at least,
He's effective, right? I need the ball in Scotty and Pascal's hand at all time. I really do. I think it needs to be in their hands. And
especially
everyone's saying the same
Scotty.
thing.
There's
Especially
you, Dennis sort of reached the ceiling. Siakam, he can still get better, but they more or less reached their ceiling. It's Barnes
agreed.
that hasn't really tapped in yet. So
Right.
we need Barnes to be tapping in. So he needs to be touching the rock more. Period.
And so shooting the three, another thing that there was the Raptor spaces, everyone they were talking about it. And I'm listening and they were talking about above the break. So that's for anyone who doesn't know, that's basically top of the key shooting the three. Anywhere top of the 3-point line. Scotty's about 40%, right? And on a high volume of shooting now. Pascal is about 20%. Okay, about 20%. And he shot last time I checked was 66 times. The last time I checked. And he was
Okay.
like 20% shooting it. Pascal, when he had 35% shooting the three, was when he was shooting from the corners. Do you want to know what Pascal's numbers are shooting from the corners? From the left side, or the right side, I don't know which one, but from one side, he's about 34%. From the other side, he's about 40 plus, he's 44%. So together, the man is 36% from the corner. And against Atlanta, he was 5 of 6 shooting the three. Where did he shoot all those shots? From the corner. You play basketball. You play basketball your whole life, you know? Where would you place Pascal if you want him to shoot the three? In the corner.
Yeah, yeah,
And in
yeah.
those 2 corner shots, he only shot like 5 times here. No, maybe like 14 times here and like 15 times there, but still at a good volume. 35% years ago because of those two. He's not an above the break 3-point shooter. So why is
Mm.
he shooting from there?
I don't know.
Ex-
I don't know.
it's infuriating.
As
Exploit
a
what they're
ball
good at.
player,
They're good at this.
you should like as a ball player, like you should know your hot spots, right? Your shot spots where you're more comfortable shooting the shot, sort of thing. So you typically gravitate toward those spots to shoot, right? Hence why they say oh, he takes his time getting to his spots.
right?
That's what it means. If it's not your spot, you need to go to it. But good defenders will put you into spots that's not really your hot spot, right? And yeah,
Right.
so
It's 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 crazy, but to me, I I'm really trying not to blame the coach and be like, no, the coach is not doing well for him, but kind of think it is a little bit. The coach is not putting these guys, and normally the announce team, like the broadcast, they're supposed to be pro Raptors and pro everything. They can't be negative. They're not supposed to be. I get it. You get paid. You can say positive things. But recently, Jack Armstrong, especially
yeah.
Alvin Williams, has been passing comments. Well, they're like Dennis needs to see that Scotty and Pascal have the hot hand because it'll be them having the hot hand, and then all of a sudden Dennis is shooting a jump shot. I'm sorry. I
No, you serious? As
it
a guard, you're
happened,
supposed to read. You're supposed to read the game better than that. As a guard, like this is something that doesn't have to be coached if you're on the court. You know what I mean? You
right?
see that he's getting off, or he's getting off. Why are you saying fuck it? Let me.
Let me do
It's
me.
just. It's just about. It's just playing winning basketball, making right decisions. That's what it just comes
Right,
down to.
right. And I don't think sometimes the Raptors are playing winning basketball. I don't think at all they're playing winning basketball. I think they won against Atlanta, and I really feel like Masai ran downstairs and said, "Hey, we won. Don't do it again. We need to like let's give this pick to San Antonio, which no matter what you're giving to San Antonio anyway. And like if you want to win, they would have won games if they gave Pascal and Scott the ball more. That's how I see it. Like I could be completely wrong, but you know what? What I would know if I was completely wrong if I saw it. I don't see it. The way you're
You
playing
gotta,
now, you're not winning.
you gotta go down shooting with your best guns,
That's
right?
it.
Right?
That's it.
Dennis is not the best one, right? It's Barnes and Siakam. Those are our guys, right? Dennis is the third guy, if you will. Sure, whatever,
No,
whatever.
he shouldn't be. It has to be OG,
Well, yeah, sure, exactly. So
right? And then
Dennis,
the fourth guy has to be Gary Trent.
exactly.
So Schroeder, you're the fifth guy who should be looking at your ability to shoot. Fifth, like I look at Gary Trent. The man averaged darn near 16 points a game. Now he's averaging 10. This man is our best 3-point shooter, like actual like bar none, physical like handle wise, best 3-point shooter.
Yeah.
Why is he shooting the worst percentage he's ever shot? Why is his free throw shot bad? Is it Gary or is it the way the offense is being ran? So the offense being ran. They said they're gonna potentially look at the lineup and potentially change it. I'm actually now thinking about it. I'm glad they lost to Atlanta. Because if they beat Atlanta both times, it's human nature. The coach is gonna be like, well, I guess the starting unit works. But it doesn't work. This is not working. Bench Dennis Schroeder, start Gary Trent. Gary Trent hasn't had a good season, but start him. Start him. It's not working.
It'll do better. It'll do better for his confidence if Trent would start, right? Give him more confidence. It'll make him play definitely make him play better. So I think that's a good change.
I think Dennis Schroeder, he has a lot of confidence and he should just come off the bench. He should just come off the bench. It's
There's a lot of
infuriating.
confidence. Yeah, yeah.
Like if you just watch Raptor fans, man, they're all saying the same thing. Dennis cannot play starting unit. He just shouldn't. Now, one thing that was weird that I read about Pascal's extension. So with Pascal, we have basically until December 30th for a few things to happen.
Two
So the
weeks.
what I read from December 30th, Pascal, he can sign an extension at any time with the Raptors. He needs to be traded to a team by December 30th, so that in 6 months with that team, which will be in June or whatever, July, when the season's done, and I guess free agency again for the summertime is back up, he can then sign the extension then. But if he gets traded in February, he can't sign the max extension until darn near September. Oh, not September, the season, but he can sign until like August. So for him to actually sign the extension that he probably wants, he needs to be traded by December. It's very conflicting. So basically, the Raptors have to make a choice by December. Now, I also read that it doesn't mean that he can't sign a 5-year max with another team. I think it's more of when he gets to sign that uh, contract is the problem. And there's also been reports by Michael Grange, who a lot of people think is like the earpiece, like for Masai to kind of get out the noise out there. There may be a Siakam extension coming because I think personally, it's better to sign him now. If you want to trade him, go ahead and trade him.
Mm-hmm.
You get no leverage trading him now. So let him sign the contract. Because then every other team, because if you sign him, you also can't trade him until the offseason. But you'll trade him during the offseason. You'll get way more draft picks because a team now has him for 4 years. Where
Oh,
now,
yeah, I see what
you know
you're
what I'm
saying.
saying? If you're Atlanta, you get him. There's no guarantee he wants to stay. The reason why he didn't get traded to
That's so
Atlanta,
true. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right about that. Yeah, yeah.
right? The reason why he didn't get traded, he was gonna get traded to Atlanta. Like the deal was about to get done. But Pascal's camp said, we're not signing the extension here. We're not staying here. You're a GM. Do you want Pascal if you know he's not gonna resign?
Hell no, that's just a waste.
Just a waste. I'm not trading draft picks for this guy. I'm not trading
Draft
draft
picks I
picks.
know I'm gonna have for 4 years and they could re-sign and they could be the next future of whatever the NBA or whatever. Nah, nah, nah,
We're not
nah.
trading him. Right. So
Yeah.
Pascal's value has gone down to me immensely. Like now I think Pascal's probably worth a draft pick and maybe someone else. But why would I trade if we talk about Sacramento? Why would I trade Keegan Murray, who I have for at least 5 years? Because on his rookie contract, they always sign their first contract with the team normally.
Yep.
Why would I then get Pascal if he's like, you know what? I only here for 6 months, but I like Houston or I like Dallas. I like the way Dallas is. I'm playing with Luca. And then he cuts. Why do all
Yeah.
that? So the Pascal extension may be coming because of leverage. But what do you think? You sign him now for the leverage points, so at least when you're the Raptors, you can then trade him off? Or what if you're the Raptors? What are you doing for the best version of this team?
I'm re-signing him. I'm re-signing him. Like not everyone's gonna be like for like Kyrie. Kyrie went with inspiring contract to the Mavericks and then re-signed, and that was big. So I'll surprise me.
Right.
I'll tell you that.
Right.
But like I'm not banking on that. So I'm banking on re-signing him, having him locked in. So when you trade him, you're trading him with that 4-year deal. So it's bada bing, bada boom. It makes sense, right? Instead of he may want to be there wherever, he may
Right.
not, and you're walking away with this, with
That's it.
nothing.
Okay.
So
We won the title, which was good. We won the title, and it was only like a draft pick that no one knows who it was that the Raptors lost for San Antonio. But it's still kind of shitty that he left, right?
there,
We've been really struggling, if you think about it, since Kawhi left, right? Luckily, we got Scotty Barnes because of the Tampa season, COVID happened and everything else. But we really haven't really found a direction since, right? So Raptor fans are frustrated now.
very,
Scotty Barnes in a few years is going to be ready for, he's going to sign his rookie contract, but then he's going to have another contract in 7 years. So in 7 years, when Scotty's 26, you're saying that these draft picks that you got are going to be ready for Scotty's, when you're saying Scotty's a superstar number one guy to win a title? What if they're not ready? Now Scotty's looking at you as an organization, say, you screwed me. I'm leaving after my contract.
yeah, yeah.
Scotty's too developed now for you to be like, let's unless you get a Keegan Murray, which can be in the same trajectory. But you can't say
You really want Keegan Murray? Huh? I ain't
I
mad.
mentioned a lot. I mean,
Take Keegan Murray still.
I would him or Mathurin or Nemhard from Indiana. That's who I'm calling, right? Like I think Pascal was signed with Indiana. I think you'd want to play with a Halliburton, right? I think Pascal wants to play with a really star point guard. If I had to think, I think Pascal wants to play with that. But I would want a Nemhart, but so if you do all that, then they match Barnes. But you're Scotty Barnes' camp. Hey, we just traded Pascal, the best player or second best player on the squad, for guys who are going to get drafted in 2026. When you,
That's
Scotty, is going to be 25, 26-year-old man, ready to win. You want to win now. You don't care about that 20. You don't care about that future draft pick. You don't care. You want to win now. You're frustrated now. Come on. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. You want to win. So the Raptors next 2 weeks is gonna be very interesting. Very
Wonder how much he's
interesting.
gonna re-sign for.
He'll sign for the max. He'll sign for the max. But there's two maxes, right? The one max is the super max. That's if you make an all NBA. But the way they're playing Pascal, Pascal's not making no all NBA. So he's gonna, and he was okay with that. He from everyone saying Pascal wants to stay in Toronto. European African players don't want to leave. They want to stay. They don't like the constant changing, right? They don't like that. He wants to stay. It'll be like a 4 year, 190 mil. This guy
TV
came
deal.
from nothing. He came from
4 years.
nothing. He'll sign that contract. You know what I'm saying? With the TV deals going up, like you've mentioned before, it'll be a nothing deal then. It'll be a nothing deal.
4 years. Damn. 190. Damn.
It'll be a nothing deal later. It'll be 40, 50 mil a year for a guy who gives you this year not, but he could literally give you 24, 7 and 7 if you allow him to touch the ball.
7 and 7. 24, 7 and 7. That's
Because
amazing.
because he's right now giving you 25, 7 and 5.
That's still nice. That's
And he's
still nice.
not touching the ball as much. He's third on the team in touches. It goes, I think Dennis and Scotty are near tied. I think Scotty could be above. Then it's Dennis, and then it's Pascal. And Pascal's darn near close to OG. And Gary
Shit.
Trent.
I know Doty's not getting touches like that. Oh, damn.
But think about it, OG's getting this much touches to Pascal. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. But this is a long podcast. We had a lot to talk about. This I thought this week in the NBA was kind of slow, but clearly the Pistons and Draymond Green decided to make it a little bit more interesting than we thought.
Yeah,
Raptors
yeah.
fans, we don't know what's gonna happen, but when it happens, we'll be here to talk about it. Make sure you guys comment, like, and subscribe. Before I go, why is there anything else you want to mention? Talk about.
I think we covered everything for this week. You know what I mean?
Okay. Next week will be even better for the holiday season, holiday conversations. Maybe do some early NBA awards. Who knows? You know, like maybe talk about our predictions, see what the hell we were with them. Once again, we have the maestro who picked the Houston Rockets, picked Ime Udoka, who got ejected today with Dylan Brooks, but crazy enough. But like I said, make sure you guys like and subscribe, comment below, and we'll talk again. Peace.